So, you want to fix jagged or blurry lines? Well, I'm gonna teach you about that. Clever intro here. Yuck, 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 yuck. Hey guys, welcome back to TutsByKai. I'm Kai, and today we are back once again taking a look. I'm. It's hot in my apartment today. Okay, I have an excuse. There's no funny intro today. Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna fix some blurry and jagged lines. I've got a lot of people telling me that they're having troubles with this, and there's a couple different reasons as to why this could be happening. So we're gonna go through a couple of the reasons right here, right now, today. So the first thing is the most important one. If you're using a super small canvas size, you're gonna have super blurry lines, and I see a lot of people telling me they use like 800 by 800, and that is the smallest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. If 800 by 800 pixels were a person, if that was a person, if we were talking about a person, 800 by 800 would be like a baby, and 3000 by 3000 would be like an adult. That's how small 800 by 800 really is, just to give you a visual idea of how tiny that is. Please stop drawing at 800 by 800. Anything under like 2000 is way too small. I'm telling you right now, is way too small. 1000 by 1000 is way too small. It's so small. Because when you look at full HD is 1920 by 1080. The longest resolution in that is the lengthwise, side by side, is 1920. That's almost 2000 pixels, 80 pixels off of 2000 pixels. So if you want full HD, it's going to have to at least be 1920 by 1080. So stop drawing 800 by 800. If I draw right now an 800 by 800, I have a 10. Look at the size of the brush. See the circle? See how big my circle is from my brush? I'm on 10. My pixel size for my brush is 10. If I draw, you can see it doesn't look super blurry right now, but when I zoom in just a little tiny bit, I just zoomed in at 200%. I just scroll my mouse wheel up twice. 200%, you can see, look at those jags, look at the edges, look at the blurriness, look how, no, I'm using my mouse, by the way, which is why it has no pressure sensitivity. But if we were to go ahead and do the same exact thing, but this time in a 3000 by 3000 canvas, you can see instantly, right now, I'm on 33% zoom because this is 100%. I'm on 33% zoom. I'm still on pixel size 10. Look how much smaller the brush is. If I do that, if I stroke across the canvas now and I zoom in twice, just click, click, you can see no jags, you can see nothing. Now, if you want this line to be bigger, of course you have to bump up your brush size. You have to draw on 20. That's fine too, because guess what? We still don't see any jaggies. We see no blurriness, and that's a big difference between that and that. That is the biggest thing. Guys, please stop drawing in 800 by 800. Stop drawing in 1000 by 1200. Stop drawing in 600 by 1200. Stop, please. This is why. This is the reason right here. And what is that? That's about, maybe bump this up a little tiny bit more, and you can get something like approximately the same size as that. There we go. So this line right here, this line is approximately the same size as this line, and you can see there's a clear difference. All right. So that's the step one. That's the biggest thing right there. There's a couple other reasons, but this is literally the only reason most likely you're gonna have those issues. Those are like 98% of the problems. And the other reasons is maybe in your brush settings up here at the top, you have, anti-alias, you have it off. So you see it when you draw. If I were to draw, you can see, you can zoom in, you have those little super sharp edges. Maybe you have that off by accident. I don't know why you would have that off, but if you do, make sure that is checked so then you have a smooth line instead of like that. And a couple of things I've touched on in other videos, not super crazy, but you can have these tool options over here on the right hand side. I do think I've customized my layout a little bit, but that's fine. You can just find the tool options. It's over here when you have the brush tool selected. There will be tool options somewhere, and if you change the brush smoothing from none to basic to weighted to stabilizer, you have different outcomes. So if I draw a straight line with none, if I draw, let me just real quick, if I draw a straight line with none, kind of super slow-ish, then I go to basic, same speed pretty much. You can see there's a clear difference between these, and then weighted, same thing, and then stabilizer. Again, you can see some of these are much more jagged. And another thing, the last thing, I usually keep this on basic, by the way. That's a good rule of thumb. I'm drawing my mouse, so it's not super great right now, but it's fine. Another thing, a reason you might have jagged lines or not smooth lines like you want is because you're drawing too slow. And I see a lot of people say that they're trying to draw really slow to get the line as perfect as they want, you know. And you see, if I'm drawing super slow like this, you can see all of those little tiny imperfections in the line. Because I mean, even though my hand is kind of steady right now, my mouse, or even my pen, if I'm using my pen, it's gonna click like that. It's gonna kind of go like and it's not gonna be super smooth. So you can see the difference between this line right here and that line. So if I draw super fast, you can see. You just got to get in there. So if you're drawing like a circle, let's say this is my sketch. I'm trying to draw all that, but let me do it in blue so you can see the difference, or red, whatever. So maybe I'm trying to sketch this. Instead of going, instead of doing like that, it's going to be much more difficult to get rather than just doing small increments. But like I'm saying, I'm using my mouse, so it's not going to be great. But you can see, you get the idea. If I wasn't using my mouse, I could get this like first try. But you can see how you can get a much smoother line than... You can see there's a difference. So that's the biggest things right there. But the absolute killer is the resolution. Please stop drawing in 800 by 800. And you can see the difference. It's astounding how much different it is, really. To be honest with you, it is insane, the level of difference that is. So hope you ladies and gentlemen enjoyed this. Please don't draw on anything other than at least 2,000 by 2,000. I always do 3,000 by 3,000. I try to do as big as possible without getting insane. Anything over like 5,000 is just overkill. 5,000 was overkill, really. So try and stay around 3,000. Try and have the lowest number in your resolution be 3,000. So if you're going 3,000 by 3,200, 3,000 by 3,600, whatever, as long as I usually try and do 3,000. 2,000 is okay too, but don't do anything under 2,000, and don't really do anything under 1,000, please, guys. That is it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. This looks terrible. Look at all those jaggies. I will see you in the next one, but until then, bye bye.